Thank you for coming to watch Dr. Smith's video today. We encourage you to hit the subscribe button and the alert button. That way you can get notifications when he uploads a new video. Thank you for coming today.
So we hope you take the time to hear and think about, and if you have a book, read in the book about the concept and the topics that we talk about. They have a lasting effect. The intent is not necessarily to treat pain, but to make permanent, long-term correction with your whole family and your friends.
Thank you. Make sure you subscribe and hit the alert button. Have a good day.
Have a good day. Now, today our discussion is on, by the way, welcome.
Thank you.
You look very nice.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're here.
Thanks, sir.
It's on exercise and weight management. We're going to talk about exercise first. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, because when we say the word exercise, that's like saying the word pain. It has a broad meaning. So the first question on the test today is, why do you exercise? Is it to lose weight? Is it so when your friends say, do you exercise? You can say, yeah, I do, without lying. You wouldn't believe the stories I get when I say, do you exercise? Well, yeah, I do. When did you do it last? Let's see. They look at the calendar. It's been a while, but I used to, used to doesn't count as today. So why do you exercise? Is it to build muscle mass? Is it to get rid of fat? Is it to gain weight? Because if we talked about exercise, and we're going to talk about it today, it can be totally different depending on what you want to accomplish. If you're all on a football team, you're all 17 years old, the discussion today will be totally different than it is for you today. For you today, some of you have a hard time getting into the bathtub and not out of the bathtub. So when I ask you, how do you enjoy your bath? You say, well, I don't bath. Why? I can't get in or can't get out, or I'm scared. Well, can you get it off the floor? I recommend people get down on the floor and do the sacral slide and the self-therapy, and they say, I can't get up. Well, then the first exercise you should do would be getting down on the floor and getting back up. I have a couple right now that's what I told them to do. I said, for the next few months, practice getting down on the floor and getting back up, and get good at it. At your age, you need to only be in shape to do the things that you need to do. Remember that. You don't need to get in shape to go on a long hike if you're not going to do a long hike. I'm not going to go on a long hike. Why? To me, it's a waste of time to go on a long hike. I have more important things that are more predicted to me in my life than going for a walk. Now, if I want to bond with my wife for a while, go walk down the river, that's fine. But to go on a long hike, like you did Saturday, Denise.
That's how me and my husband bond.
You were bonding. I know. That was a good thing. But so if you can't reach up in the cupboard on the top shelf, or you can't get your laundry in the aisle, or you can't carry your own groceries, there's different things you need to do. So the why you exercise is important. So if you have any questions as we talk about this, bring them up now so I can help you with them. So let me give you some sad news. At about the age 30, most people reach the peak. So when we talk about being over the hill's not 60 or 50, it's sooner than that. Because science has proven that at about age 30, you start to lose lean muscle mass. Now remember those words, lean muscle mass. You start to lose it, and you lose it slowly. And you can lose up to 30 to 40% of lean muscle mass from, the medical word is atrophy. Atrophy, disuse. How do you disuse your muscles? Well, you're not doing sports, you're not chasing 6 kids around anymore. All you're doing is vacuuming and cooking and doing little things. Maybe in the summertime you work in your garden. You're not doing much, so the muscles don't get used, so you start to lose them. And one of my messages to you today is, by divine design, you can regain the muscle that you've lost. Most of you are behind. You need to so one of the goals, one of the purposes, one of the reasons that I recommend you exercise is to regain lean muscle mass. And you do that by resistance exercise. Aerobic exercise won't do it. You need resistance. Now, you can do something very simple, like if you stand on your T-zone, or you go for a 10 to 12 minute walk, and don't do more than that. Get a couple of little weights, a 2 and a 3 pound weight, and you just carry them. That additional 5 pounds is resistance exercise. When you move your arms, move your shoulders, don't just drag them along. Move your shoulders and breathe, walk as vertically as you can, and about every minute and a half or 2 minutes, trade hands. So we're intentionally creating torque in the body, which gives the body a chance to gain more strength. Now, you can do it with one weight only if you want. If you have only one weight, if you don't have a weight, you can carry a water bottle and just swing the water bottle. And about every minute, just change hands. That will help your core and your rotational muscles strengthen by resistance. You will build lean muscle mass. Now, I said you would lose about 1 pound of lean muscle mass per year. There's 12 months in a year. 1 pound is 16 ounces, so you're losing it very slow. If you do what I just said to you, you gain 2 pounds of muscle mass in 1 year. 2 pounds, only 2 in 1 year. Would you be more healthy? Yes. Would you have to strain the body to do it? No. Now, what is the advantage of gaining lean muscle mass? I'll give you a couple of hints. Lean muscle mass is you're like a camel. The camel carries water in the hump. You carry water and lean muscle mass. If you lose lean muscle mass, you reduce your body's ability to maintain your water balance. Now, I'm going to pass around to you these pictures. They're not to keep, they're just to look at. When we check a person to see how healthy they are, one of the things we check is a Ragnar's test, where we do the blood pressure sitting and we do it standing. Another is to do what's called a body composition test, where we actually check with a device that measures water and fat and lean muscle mass. The healthiest people always have more water than fat. If you have more fat than water, number one, you're not getting enough water. Number two, you can't hold it. It takes a long time to fix. Now, let's talk for a minute about fat, and fat cells. Your body has to have fat, and it has to have a lot of it. Women have to have more fat than men. Why? Because they're built different. One of the things you should know, and it's on the test we're going to talk about, is the fat you have in your breast. People who have less breast fat have higher risk of cancer. Having more fat in your breast reduces your chance of getting cancer.
Interesting. I would have thought the reverse.
Now, a lot of marketing pushes skinny people, thin people. From a life insurance point of view, if I were a life insurance agent and I came to your home because you wanted to buy some life insurance, so when you die, your husband will be rich enough to find another woman and have a nice honeymoon.
Skip the life insurance.
What?
Skip the life insurance.
Or you may want to get life insurance for your husband. Either way, one of my main questions is going to be, how tall are you? How old are you? How much do you weigh? And then I will look at a chart. I will say, oh, based on the chart, you're too thin. So you're going to pay more money for your premium because you have a higher chance of dying because you have no reserve, a low reserve. Now, both husband and wife get an insurance. I go to the other one and say, what is your age and your height and your weight? And they look at the chart and they say, oh, you're 12 pounds overweight. That's great because you get a discount. You get a discount on your premium because you have some reserve. So if you get COVID or any other cancer or emphysema or whatever you get, you have a reserve. So you will pay less. Does that make sense? Now, what if you're 20 pounds overweight? Now the premium goes down again.
So what's the point that's good overweight? 10 to 12 pounds, is that what you said? Or 5 to 10 to 12 pounds?
Now, let's talk about fat cells. By the time you're 6 years old, you have grown all of your fat cells. You don't get any more. As you get bigger and you start to eat ice cream and potato chips and you're not active, you start to gain weight, you don't get more fat cells. The fat cells just puff up. they become bigger. Until you've gained more, so that makes it, so you can be fat and not have more cells. But if you've gained more than 15 pounds, about, so you're pushing the line from being fat to being obese, your body, by divine design, decides this person has gone nuts. They're eating too much, they have too much toxin in the body. We can't store the energy more because the fat cells can only get so big. Part of what goes in fat cells are toxins. So if you're not having good clean bowel movements and emptying the colon out, you're recycling toxins in the bowel. Your liver is toxic. You can tell that by looking under your tongue. Your liver is toxic. You don't drink enough water, so your body starts to hold onto the toxins and it stores them in the fat cells. And they can store in the fat cells for a long, long time.
So your fat cells are just getting bigger and bigger.
They're getting bigger and bigger until what?
Not more fat cells, just bigger and bigger.
Until you gain about 15 more pounds, and you've crossed the line from fat to obese. Now, when you get 15 pounds overweight, you go to obese. Now your stem cells in the brain say all the parking lots are full. We have to make more fat cells. So then the body makes more fat cells. Now that creates a whole other problem. Now you're not only fat, you're obese, and you have more fat cells. So you have the potential of becoming bigger and bigger. That becomes a harder problem to fix. It's still fixable by doing the same thing that we're going to talk about. But you need to know that. Now you can go down to the guy down the street here, and they'll do what's called Coolsculpting.
Oh, yeah.
That's where you see, my husband thinks I have a fat roll right here. I call them love handles. He calls them fat. I would like to get rid of them. And they said, no problem. We'll kill them. So they kill them. They kill the fat cells with cold. Is that a good thing? That's not a good thing. Now, you might say, well, I'm good, it's just me smart, and I'm going to shrink my fat cells. What do I have to do? I have to, number one, get more water in the body. And where is the water stored? In the muscles. So I have to build more muscle. Number one. I need to burn more calories. Question, do you burn more calories by doing aerobic exercise or anaerobic exercise? What? Anaerobic. Anaerobic. Let me explain briefly the difference. Anaerobic in principle is what your car does in the morning when it's cold. It has in the old days they call it a choke. It opens up, you get more fuel, less air, just to get it going. Then when it gets warmed up, the choke shuts down and now you burn more oxygen and less fuel, you get better miles per gallon. So if you want to burn calories and use that to get rid of fat, you want to stay in anaerobic. And the most effective thing you can do is walk up and down the stairs for 3 minutes, and you're done. Most homes have 15 stairs up, 15 down, Just slowly walk up and down. You're doing, when you're walking up and down stairs, you're doing resistance exercise. And your body weight is the weight that you're lifting. And what are you lifting your body with? Your legs and your butt. Now, if you have a T-zone, you can, I don't want to walk stairs. And I don't, I think that's a boring thing to do. I'd rather stand on my T-zone and do what I call sit downs. Like hold on and go down to, pretend you have a chair, go down to where the chair would be, and then come back up, and then go back down. Then come back up, go back down, come back up. And if you do that, you'll never need one of those fancy chairs the Medicare buys for you. They'll kick you out of stand up. You'll never need one of those things that carry you down the steps and bring you back up. You'll be able to do it yourself. So you practice doing what you need to do, and that's going up and down stairs. And if you don't bath, you need to bath. I recommend you get in water and soak. If you're scared to get in the tub, get I call them a balance bar. You can buy them at Home Depot. They're easy to put on. Even a good man can put them, all women can, but a good man could put them on with a screwdriver. I treated a handyman, oh dear, I'm not recording. I treated a handyman who slipped in his shower and fell down and whacked his ribs and his head. I said, what, do you have a bar in the bathroom to hold on to? Oh no, I mean that's for old people. Well, pretend you're old and get the balance bars put on and use them to get in the tub and out of the tub and in the shower if you need them, and so that you don't fall down.
We've got a shower curtain rod across our tub.
Yeah.
Brent took it out and put in a heavy one and drilled it in, and we've got a grab bar on both ends of the tub, but the thing in the middle is what we end up grabbing when we start to slip.
And do whatever you need to do to make it safe. If you fall and break a bone, even a rib, or a clavicle, or an arm, or bash your head, that's a big deal. So prevent that and practice using them. Okay, let's go back to weight. Did I pass this around yet?
Yes.
So this one gives you an idea of how many calories you burn when you do different things. You can keep that one. That's just for your interest. Now, I've shown this picture to you before. I'm going to read to you what the words say. It's an old Chinese doctor. Doctor, I've heard that cardiovascular exercise can prolong life. Is that true? Answer, heart only good for so many beats, and that's it. Don't waste on exercise. Everything wear out eventually. Speeding up heart not make you live longer. It's like saying extend the life of your car by driving faster. Want to live longer? Take a nap. I totally believe that's true. Smart old doctor.
They're coming. Oh.
They're coming around.
Oh, okay. So what about exercising in the water?
Exercise in water. If you have the luxury to be able to get into water, number one, you've eliminated gravity. So that lowers the concept of resistance, and it changes it. You can do resistive exercises in water by moving things around. But gravity has less effect, so it's a difference. I recommend, if you can, that's a good place to do it, because you eliminate the negative effect of gravity. Most of you, I've taken pictures of, when you walk down the hall, you wobble. When you wobble, you wear out faster. So that's a good thing. Okay, number one, the reason why I exercise is you can choose whatever it is. So right now, my question to you would be, do you have any questions on what you want to accomplish specifically for the class today? In addition to what I've already said to you. B says burn extra calories eaten. I don't recommend calorie counting. I don't recommend getting hung up on how many steps do you take today. Well, I have a meter, and my meter says I took 8,000 steps. Well, your meter will count this as a step. So if you sit in the office and swing your arm, you get extra credit.
I should have known that. We had a competition and I lost.
Yeah, if you put your watch in the drawer, you really get good numbers.
Or weeding, even weeding counts as steps.
Yeah,
Outside, pulling weeds.
Oh, really?
yeah. So I don't recommend calorie counting or the step, but I do recommend paying attention to what you eat. So when we talk about weight management, it's always good to at least scan the list of, on the side of your product, how many calories it has and where they come from. Most soft drinks, even health drinks, if you buy peach nectar or pear nectar or anything else, about how many calories does it have? About
200?
about 200. If you buy a 12-ounce can of any kind of soda pop, how many calories does it have?
About 200.
About the same. Okay. So let's do some rational thinking for a minute. If I have to walk briskly for an hour to burn 650 calories, I have to walk, how long do I have to walk to burn off 200 calories? About 20 minutes. So what's my recommendation? My recommendation is don't drink it. We'll have a nap. Drink water. Yeah. When I was in practice, I had a number of massage therapists. We traded service. And many times I would say, okay, if I go get a massage, it's a half hour out, an hour massage, it's a half hour back, that's 2 hours. I'm 5 minutes from home. I think I'll go home and have a nap. Most of the time, that was my choice. Now, all I have to do here.
He walks across the hall.
That's all. Today I can have,
Good nap.
today I can have both, massage and nap. So counting calories, that's number 2. Counting calories and counting steps per day can be a diversion. my dad would say to me sometimes, "What's my hand?" Then he would laugh. What's the wrong hand? That's a diversion. Calorie counting is a diversion. Don't worry about it. But look at the labels and eat. Don't eat the stuff you don't need to. 3, choose. The cornerstones of total fitness include exercise, nutrition, accountability, motivation. All of them. 4, getting fat causes my body to add fat cells. False.
I thought you said it did after obesity.
5, when going from fat to obese, my body adds fat cells when I'm 15 pounds overweight. True. So there's a difference between being fat and being obese. How do you tell if you're too thin or too fat or obese? Do you have to go to a doctor? You can do it. If you have a mirror in your house. Take off all your clothes and stand in front of the mirror. Turn sideways. You'll know. You'll know. You'll know, look dude, you need to do something different. And if you're obese, the problem becomes more significant. Now let me review with you a concept. I said it to you earlier, I'll say it again. Lean muscle mass causes you to be more healthy. And when you're building lean muscle mass, you gain water. Also, when you do resistive exercise, you gain bone density. Bone health is critical to old age. Why? That's where stem cells are made. The more healthier bones, the more stem cells you can make. So if you're obese, you need to spend more focus and try to build more than you lose in a year. So instead of losing just 8 or 10 pounds of lean muscle mass, you want to gain 8 or 10 pounds of lean muscle mass. So you go in the other way. When you do that, you'll have more water in the body and you'll be able to burn calories faster. So a quick question. Which burns the most calories? Fat cells or muscle cells? Muscle. And guess what? They burn calories when you're sleeping. How many? You can burn 65 calories per hour laying in bed. That's what it says right there. Laying in bed, you can burn. Now, if you have more muscle, you burn more calories. That's why big football players and wrestlers and athletes need a lot of calories. They need them because they burn them. They have a lot more muscle bulk. Now, a lot of both men and women, as they age, say, well, I haven't, my weight hasn't changed any since I was 30. And now I'm 65. That's 35 years. My weight is still the same. Well, your weight may be the same, but your body composition, what happened to those pictures? You got the body composition has changed. Then I have less water, more fat, less lean muscle mass. See, yes, you were the same, but you're not the same. You've deteriorated, you've changed, you've transformed. And you're never too old to go back the other way. I know that to be true. They've done research in senior citizen centers where the people are 75 and older. And when they do the body composition test, those who do resistive exercises routinely gain lean muscle mass. and lose fat bulk. You can test that with the resistance machine. Number 6, osteopenia, osteoporosis, sarcopenia are all related to disuse. So you use it or you lose it.
What are those 3 things? Osteoporosis.
Sometimes you go to the doctor and they check you for your bone density and they say, oh, you have osteopenia. Well, that means you're early. You're losing bone density, but not a lot.
Okay.
Osteoporosis is you lost a lot. When you lose a lot of bone density, you lose the ability to make stem cells. How do you get it back? Resistive exercise and proper nutrition.
So what's sarcopenia?
Sarcopenia, that's where you lose muscle mass. You could write the word muscle loss. Again, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. Now a big key factor for you, number 7. My metabolic rate can be enhanced by, what is metabolic rate? Metabolic rate means how fast things happen in the body. If you're well rested, your metabolic rate is faster. If you're tired, guess what you don't want to do?
Move.
Anyway,
I said just move if you're tired.
yeah, but if you're tired, you don't want to move. So to increase your metabolic rate, you eat a healthy breakfast and then do 8 to 12 minutes of moderate exercise. That's true. You can do that in the T-zone. Better quality and quantity of rest. True. I told you in the past classes that one of the main causes of being overweight is insufficient quantity of rest. Why? That's the key right there. When you're tired, you don't want to exercise, and you don't. And your metabolic rate is slower. Does that mean that your digestive system is weaker? Yes. So many people have poor metabolic rate, poor digestion, problems with the gut because they're tired. So we want to turn up the metabolic rate. So a good habit to get into is, for all of us, is to get up in the morning, do 8 to 10 minutes of the T-zone, a light, nurturing breakfast. And keep in mind, last week we talked about the triangle, protein and fat. You could use the fruit later in the day. Why protein? To build lean muscle mass. You have to have protein to build lean muscle mass. And why fat? For energy. And the more fat you eat for breakfast, the more your metabolic rate goes up. Because if you eat sugar, carbohydrate for breakfast, it goes up for a short time and it goes down. One of the worst things you can do is to eat sugar. Now, yesterday in our class we talked about sugar. It's enemy number 1. What is sugar? Sugar is sucrose. It's white. It's free of fiber. They took the sugar beet and cooked it and shredded it and chopped it and filtered it and took all the fiber out, a lot of the nutrition out. So all I have left is the fuel. Now, carbohydrate is fuel. A carbohydrate burns slower and longer. Carbohydrate is what God made. God didn't make white sugar. The evil and conspiring men made white sugar. If you want to look at something really interesting, study the history of Cuba, the country Cuba, the history of it. It will blow your mind on the evil and all of the things that transpired, the lives that were ruined all over sugar cane and sugar. And the corruption. A lot of good people were destroyed because of evil and corrupt people that came down from the United States, and the mafia that came down were the money that was made in sugar. Will change your whole mind on sugar. 9, is most healthy to be C.
We didn't do 8.
What?
We didn't do 8, did we?
No, 8.
Sarcopenia is a serious problem after age 30. I told you that. You can lose 30% of your muscle mass if you don't use it. True. Sorry. 10. A publicly marketed diet is always better in the long run than suffering the stress of modification of your routine bad habits. 11. Aerobic exercise is always better than anaerobic. False. Number 12. Underline the first 2 words. Metabolic rate modifiers include tiredness, exercise in the morning, and nourishment. So think of those words occasionally. What am I doing to modify my current metabolic rate?
By modify, are we talking improve
Wait,
or just change?
change it.
Up or down?
Yeah, you can go up or down, whichever you
Okay.
want. If you want to get out of doing something, get sick, so slow it down.
Okay.
Don't eat, don't sleep. You feel like crap, and they ask you to do a job, and you say, I feel like crap. No, I'm not going to do that. Okay? Number 13, the amount of breast fat is a risk factor in cancer. True. And what did I tell you? Remember?
More is better.
More is better. And if you ask the question, how much of my breast is fat and how much is not fat? Well, the average is anywhere from about 8 to 45%. If you have mammogram, you can see very clearly the different. You can see the fat. The fat shows up completely different than the milk ducts and the muscle and fiber in your tissue.
So on that note, I just have a question. So women who have breast augmentation, is fat removed to put in a breast implant? No? I don't know.
You're talking about making it bigger or little?
Bigger. Well, because they might think that fat is not as firm, so they do a breast implant. So my question
It
is,
makes the breast more firm?
yeah,
Okay, the more firm the breast, the lower the fat.
yeah.
That's a bad thing to do. We have one daughter who had a breast implant. I think they put silicone, like a water balloon in there.
Mhm.
And a lot of people have that, take them out, because they're a problem. They create a lot of problems. I've treated women have had way oversized breasts, and they said, I'd like to share some. I have plenty to give to some 17-year-old girls if they want it. They can't do that. They don't transplant breasts. They might, but they don't. Okay, any questions about exercise or weight management? We have a few minutes left.
I know if you're having fat, you can have bacon in the morning, but how is bacon compared to sausage? I don't really care for sausage, but are they equal, or is sausage?
I don't think they're equal, but I think sausage has been processed a lot more. It's had probably more additives put into it. And if you ask the question, is it bad? No, not occasionally, but don't have it every day. We have a nephew who has a family reputation. If you go to eat with him, he brings out the bacon. His bacon's about that thick, and you get many slices of bacon. And he is obese.
So if you have the breakfast cereal,
Yes.
your combination breakfast cereal, and you want to put some fat on it, so that would be like a nut butter or cream or yogurt or something like that.
Olive oil,
Olive oil.
coconut oil.
Okay, yeah, so those would be the fats.
Yeah.
What about having a fruit with that cereal?
Just so the question is, go back to the pyramid we talked about last week. Protein is the big one to build lean muscle mass. Fats burn slow. You don't want to mix the fuel. We've talked about going to the gas station to get a little bit of diesel, a little bit of gas. You know, they want to mix the fuel. So carbohydrate, even like fruit, is fuel. And if you go see Deborah, she's going to tell you, don't mix the fuel. And I say to you, you can have, like if you want to put a little tiny bit to sweeten it, fine.
But not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot.
Now is the,
So a couple of strawberries, a few blueberries, part of a banana, some blackberries, raspberries, a few, that's fine. Just enough to tweak it, but don't do a lot of both. That's not good for your blood.
so the protein part is all the nuts and seeds and that's it.
Grains, yes.
The grains.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we had the farm, we used to take loads of wheat over to Firth, and they would take a sample of our wheat, and they test it for protein. We got paid a different amount for a bushel of wheat that had more protein.
So grains have protein. Okay.
If it had less protein, we got less money. We also got paid on the moisture. Too much moisture increases the risk of mold and deterioration, activation of the enzymes. So when you have the cereal, if you activate the enzymes, that's why I recommend if you do my cereal, you put water on at night to activate the enzymes. That makes it easier for you to digest in the morning.
Do you put vinegar?
You can put a little bit of vinegar, just a little bit of vinegar also. That helps activate the enzymes. Don't do a lot, just a little tiny bit. Good question.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions?
I really like wheat berries for breakfast. Is that a good nutritious breakfast?
You do or don't?
I do. Boil them, and then put peanut butter and honey in them for. Supposed to make it complete protein.
So use less honey,
Oh, okay.
just enough to sweeten it.
But is that a fairly good breakfast? Not every morning, but sometimes.
I think wheat is a very good food product. I recommend, again, with my cereal, they have many different sources of grains.
Okay,
Grains.
so
You-
switch.
So we have nutritional sources from many different farms. So if you have less nutritious grain and you have more nutritious grain, your risk are less. The chance of a healthy protein are better.
Why are we so in love with sugar? Why am I so in love with sugar?
That's a perfect question, and the answer is this. Your body knows from your own experience that sugar is a quick source of energy. And I like to compare it to the concept of camping. We go camping in the mountains and it's 10 degrees and it's cold. We want a fire quick. We can pour a little bit of gasoline, light a match, we have a quick fire. How long does that last? That's what sugar does. Sugar is quick and it burns hot and gives you a lot of energy, but it lasts a short period of time. Back to the camping trip. You find that we call them snappers. We find snappers that come right off, they break, they're brittle, they're small, they have a lot of surface area, they start burning and they burn for longer than the gasoline. Then we burn bigger sticks like protein, like coal, and that's like fat. When we're ready to go to sleep at night, we put bigger logs, they're going to burn longer. That's fat, okay? So your body knows the sugar is a quick source of energy. And always, the question was asked yesterday in class, should we store sugar in our food storage? My answer is, you bet. A lot of it. Why?
People are gonna preserve fruit stuff,
Pardon?
to preserve fruits as a preservative. for
No,
fruits.
that's not my reason.
Trade
Monetary.
with other people.
Oh, trade.
Monetary.
Old. Oh, not to preserve.
If you had no fuel at all, if you ran clear out of food, you could make almost anything taste good with sugar and cinnamon. And you have run out of food. Two items that will make very good bartering would be
So.
sugar and brownie mix. I'm serious. Brownie mix is that's a comfort food. If you read from the gurus who are into survival and crisis, they all recommend pre-mixed brownies. All you have to do is add water and cook. I recommend that. I don't recommend you eat it, but I recommend it. Have it in case you need it.
So is a strong core, lean muscle mass, helps you to burn fat.
While you sleep? No. Oh.
I just like a
Okay.
strong stomach, rear end, and legs. That help you burn fat.
Okay, we come in on that question. If you have not eaten for 8 to 10 hours, that's when your body starts to metabolize fat. You don't metabolize fat if you have food in the gut. Why? It doesn't need it. It's burning the current available fuel. When you run out of current available fuel, then the body starts to burn fat, and that takes at least 8 to 10 hours. And if you're low on water, the fat won't burn. If you're low on water, 10 hours after you've eaten, your body will break down lean muscle mass for energy. That's a serious problem. That's why you've heard me say probably 1.5 billion times, water is key.
So she's asking, I think, a different question, aren't you?
I like the answer though, but
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
I just, a strong core is, I don't know, I guess just healthy. Never
A
mind.
core,
Core from
Yeah,
here
your
to here.
core. Is
The most important muscles in your body, not the core. It's your butt and your legs. Your butt and your legs.
so I noticed yesterday just cleaning out my closet. I went up and down my chair for just maybe 5 or 6 times. I was so sore last night. Like, what in the world did I do? The only thing I did was get up and down a chair a few times.
Well, there you go. Now you know what exercise you do.
What I need to do.
Putting down the chair.
So what about intermittent fasting?
Intermittent fasting is good if you do it right. And right means to eat supper between 5 or 6 at night. If you look at your clock, and you don't do it again until 7 o'clock the next morning, how many hours is that?
13, 14.
12, 13, 14. Have you technically fasted intermittently? Yes. Will your body then burn fat between 6 and 7 in the morning?
If you're hydrated.
If you have it, if you need it.
If you're hydrated.
If you're hydrated. So when you get up in the night and you have to pee, and you think, oh crap, if I drink some water, I'll have to get up and pee again. So I'm gonna drink water, and then your body can't burn the fat because you're low on water. If you have to get up in the night to pee once or twice or 3 times, your body is probably detoxifying. It's probably throwing out poisons from cleaning the blood. So what do? Drink more water.
Get up in the morning, drink some water, and exercise.
And if you're tired, you say, sweet, I get to have a nap today.
Is it better to sip water or drink a bunch throughout the day or sip throughout the day?
I recommend 4 to 6 ounces about every 45 minutes.
Okay.
To me, that's a good range to think about. It's a rule of thumb.
I heard someone say coffee is a diuretic, that it,
What
and you
is,
lose water, coffee.
if you drink it,
I don't drink it, but,
if you do an end with it, no.
okay. It just seems like there's like a coffee shop on every corner and you're going,
Don't drink coffee.
she doesn't, I don't,
For every cup of coffee you need, a drink, you need
but I know
4
people
to
that
5 cups of water
drink a lot.
to fix the problem. And if you drink 3 or 4 cups of coffee a day, you'll never fix the problem.
Inspiring, huh?
Now, when you do a coffee enema, that's a whole different ballgame. It's totally different. Totally different. Don't confuse the two. Okay, we're still good?
Metabolic rate.
We're good. Thank you.